Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Battle for Wesnoth Amateurs Cup. We are continuing with round 2. In this match, we have Isalphalon, or Isalphalon? One second, how do I pronounce that again? Isalphalon, that's right, here as Blood Isal, versus MrProgressor. Now, in round 1, we saw MrProgressor take out Prey 2-0, so he's doing pretty well. Going up against Isalphalon, who has not played yet. If you'll recall, round 2 is a relatively small round, or smaller round, because a lot of the people playing here received buys in round 1. So, we're on a Lensifar courtyard, and we have MrProgressor as the Loyalists versus Isalphalon as the Northerners. And let's see how it goes. So, the Northerners start off. Pretty broad recruit, 2 Wolf Riders. The Loyalists bring in a heavy infantry and 2 cavalry. We look at the point of view here and remind ourselves that neither can see each other at the moment. And Isalphalon is not moving forward towards his next recruitment location. MrProgressor is, and he's using his leader to take a village along the way. Okay, so now we've identified the enemies. So we do have an assassin and 3 grunts up front. It is morning, so the Northerners don't want to launch their attack early. Got an archer and a wolf rider over here, and then going towards this side, we've got a wolf rider and then a naga in the middle. So we've got some pretty beefy melee power up front, but MrProgressor is playing this quite aggressively. He's pushing down into the southern half of the map. And Isalphalon is retaliating by pushing up into the northern half of the map. Personally, I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm not sure this is wise. Since it is daytime, there are a lot of Loyalist units standing around that can go in there, probably pick off at least one of these Orcish grunts. We could start recruiting next turn here, but like I'm looking at this Orcish grunt who's standing here, 50% defense terrain. And we've got a fencer who can attack him, a merman fighter who can attack him from the water, where he'll have 60% defense. We can bring a heavy infantry in, and we could bring a cavalryman in, and all 4 of those units could hit this Orcish grunt. Now, like I said, 50% defense terrain, but we've got 21 potential damage, 28 potential damage, that's 49, another 21 up to 70, and then another 20 there. So 91 potential damage. They could, statistically speaking, I think odds are they could kill this Orcish grunt. And of course, we've got more units being recruited right now. Well, it looks like they're not going for the attack. And we've got a heavy infantry trying to attack an assassin on a mountain. Okay, so we've got poison applied on heavy infantry, an excellent counter to heavy infantry. I'm not sure why this attack is being made, because right now, that Orcish grunt, cavalrymen are quite resistant to blade damage. These Orcish grunts are only doing 7 damage per hit. The cavalryman is doing back more damage than he's taking. I mean, if you can gang up units, it's still worthwhile to hurt an enemy unit that badly, but I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like Isalphalon might have been better served not to make that attack against that cavalry. Although he's got a significant concentration of force over here. So we've got one lone cavalryman off here, probably regretting his life decisions. And that merman might also be regretting his life decisions right about now. Well, not anymore, because he's dead. But the Northerners have taken out a heavy infantry, and they are on the advance. Yep. Yeah, the Northerners are pushing really, really hard. So Isalphalon right now is doing pretty well. If we look at the stats, Isalphalon has killed 4 units and not lost any. And in terms of stats, he has taken ridiculously less damage than he has any right to expect. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. So at this point, I'm comfortable with saying this is one of those rare occasions when, at least at the moment, someone is winning a game just purely due to luck. He is about to lose this Wolf Raider, though, so no level for you. However, we've got a cheeky horseman coming over to try and launch a cavalry charge on this grunt. Might actually be able to kill him, even. But the Northerners are in some trouble. It is second watch, but they've got some hurt coming in on them. These units can probably stand it off, though, actually. Come to think of it. He's got the mage. The mage is probably going to die, but... Oh, what? He went for the archer, actually, instead of the grunt. But he's trying to fish out a kill. Okay, so he got another kill on his Orcish archer, so now that guy's about to level up. He better cover him, though, because he only has 17 health. Alas, poor goblin. I knew him well, Horatio. A goblin of infinite jest. Trying to get rid of that spearman, but I think he's just fed him a kill. Oh, well, maybe not. Nope. Very disappointing. Now, we've got Isalphalon's troll isolated, but he's on a mountain, and he's got support units very close by. And, if you'll notice, at this point, the Northerners have lost all their villages. So this is very much the last... I'm sorry, the Loyalists have lost all their villages. So this is very much MrProgressor's last gasp over here. That archer, though, he's dodging. He's a dodging fool. And I think that is going to be the whole ball game. Oh, Javelineer got a kill. Oof. Interesting, no levels this game. At least not yet. Maybe he'll level this Orcish archer before the end. Maybe not. But that Javelineer is giving good account of himself. He's gonna die with honor. Yep, there he goes. He's dead. Alright, so. Isalphalon takes game 1. Mainly, I would say, off the strength of his Wolf Rider that he had running around taking villages. The Loyalists launched an ill-advised attack over here when they went for the Assassin, got pushed back, and then they just never really had the strength over here to finish the job, especially because they were quickly being choked of money. So, let's load up game 2, shall we? And in game 2, we have MrProgressor as the Drakes versus Isalphalon as the Knolgans. Now, I've talked about Drakes several times. I think there are a couple of matchups where Drakes have a significant disadvantage. This is actually a matchup where I think Drakes have a significant advantage. And there's 2 reasons for that. The Knolgans have access to Knolgan units and Outlaw units. The Knolgan units, except for Griffin Riders, are way too slow to really contest with the Drakes. All they can really do is stand on the defensive. The Drakes can very easily swap sides of the map and concentrate forces against a few dwarves. And any dwarves off on the other side of the map could spend a year and a half trying to get over to them and just not make it. You can see dwarvish leaders actually have to be given the quick trait to ensure that they have 5 moves at the start of the game, because normally they only have 4. And you need 5 moves to ensure that you'll be able to grab a village on turn 1. On the other hand, Knolgans can recruit outlaws, but outlaws are too weak to fight Drakes. Of outlaws, only the poacher has piercing damage. The other ones have bludgeoning damage primarily, which does not hurt Drakes particularly. They actually have impact resistance. And they're just... outlaws tend to be flimsy, tend to be relatively low damage, and Drakes can fly around them and just chew them to absolute bits, especially because some Drake units even have marksmen on their ranged attacks, so they can counteract the high outlaw defense scores. So I would say this is a matchup where the Drakes are good. I mean, Drakes compensate for the relative inefficiency of their units just with high maneuverability, obviously, but against the Knolligans in particular, I would say that Drakes work quite well. Now, we do have double Poacher Recruit, which is kind of dangerous to Drakes. But I don't think it's going to be a huge problem, to be honest. He's also got a Drake Clasher that he sent to guard this ford right here to make sure people can't cross and make themselves a nuisance. Scouting down that way. Up, it looks like he's not going to defend the water. But he is bringing units in position to attack if necessary. And we've got Dwarves on the hills up front. But one of those Dwarves is a Thunderer, who of course does not have the best melee retaliation, and has gotten punted. Now that seemed a little bit lucky to me. Yeah, that was quite lucky, actually. They would have expected to only inflict about 20 damage. So that was kind of a ballsy attack. I'm not sure I would have made that attack, but it worked out for him, so, you know. So we've got a lot of Dwarves backed up by Poachers, kind of guarding this area. Now, Poachers are chaotic. They do extra damage at night, so the Drakes really don't want to be close to Poachers at nighttime, which is why, of course, they're all flapping their wings and flying away. Flying over to this side, where all they have to contend with is a Thief and a Footpad. A little bit of fighting going on over here, but this Dwarf on the mountains is completely unconcerned. Dwarves on the mountains are incredibly tough to handle. But we've got a cheeky nighttime Drake attack over here. But this is the thing that Drakes excel at. Even though it's not their time of day, they just have the mobility advantage. So they've got 4 units over here against 2, well, 3 now. The Dwarves are moving the reinforcements over. But it's still just not really going to pay off, I don't think. And, of course, we've got that Fire Drake just unloading on Sneaky Dwarf here. While this Dwarvish Thunderer went in here to try and get a devastating piercing shot, since, as I forgot to mention, Thunder Sticks are piercing, so they do 20 damage versus Drakes. Tried to get a cheeky shot off on Gradit here, but missed, sadly, and is now getting assassinated. This is, I will say, the problem with Dwarf Thunderers. They really, really need support. And if you don't support them heavily, and put them in a position where they can recover from missing their shot, you are going to have a bad, bad time. So the Poachers have been blocked up by this Skirmisher, so they can't get their shots on the targets they want to shoot, i.e. the Drakes. And the Knolligans are kind of being forced into a defensive posture, even at night, so now that it's daytime, that's only going to get worse. Poor Sneaky Dwarf up here. He's on 70% defense terrain, so he's trying. He is trying his level best. And meanwhile, the Drakes are really trying to kill this Poacher before he can level. But they may, if we take a cheeky little pause here, they may have made a bit of a mistake, because this guy, Mermod here, he's on only 40% defense, and yes, he doesn't have a weakness versus piercing, but he does still have 2 Thunderers who can get on him, plus this Poacher. And doing 18 damage a pop, plus then this guy doing a potential of 16. I think I would try to go for the kill on Mermod. There's also a Dwarvish Ulfsirker. Ulfsirkers definitely should not attack Clashers. But, yeah, he can't quite reach anybody. But yeah, getting this Ulfsirker over somewhere where he can be poised to attack the Saurian Augur could definitely work well. MrProgressor has done a pretty good job of putting himself in defensive position. The Mermod is the only person he's exposing. But still, all it'll take is one turn of decent luck on Isalphalon's part, and that Clasher would go down. We can see here that MrProgressor has gotten quite lucky. He's taken a lot less damage than one would expect. but luck doesn't last forever. Over here, we've got the Drakes pushing on this this poor lonely footpad. And there she goes. Okay, 1, 2. Yeah, there we go. That's the Trapper. Nice. That's why I love Thunderers. Yeah, they don't work all the time, but when they do work, oh, it's sweet. Meanwhile, lucky, sneaky Dwarf here is just continuing to be an enormous pain in the neck for the Drakes. Drawing a lot of attention. It's not gonna make the grade, though. The Drakes are just too powerful over on this side. They're crumbling the whole flank. They're about to sweep in behind the remnants of the Dwarvish defensive line, and they're about to lock his leader down in place. So, this is going to be a problem. Now, these Thunderers can definitely kill off like that. And we've got the Trapper coming over to try and do some work. I would not send that guy up. So, hold up. Strategically speaking, the Knolgans are in a really bad situation, for one thing. They're down by a village. They're very much on the defensive, but they're only down by a village so far. Up here, you know, Imir here has been doing great work stealing villages, and the Drake leader has been away from his castle for quite some time. Now, the flip side of that is, the Drakes have a lot of money in the bank. They have 54 gold in the bank. So, when they get back there, they're going to be able to recruit a wave, but they don't have the wave recruited yet. As the Knolgans, I would say the proper move at this point would be, instead of scattering your troops out in this direction in an effort to attack, pull your troops back, get over here, force these units back or kill them, and then push this side of the map if at all possible. It would take longer, but you'd be able to re-secure this area, get a couple of villages back to make up for the ones that you're about to lose, because these units are about to take them back. And kind of reset into a solid position. You also have to deal with this guy, who's being a problem, but you can deal with him by moving Isalphalon up here, recruiting, and then sending him down to attack, because he can absolutely kill or drive off a Saurian Augur, no problem. Guaranteed. As long as you have a bunch of units down here to stop these guys from running over and ganking him while his back is turned. Like that. So yeah, I think that was a very significant strategic error. It left his castle and his leader exposed. The Drakes have now closed off recruitment. So as long as they're there, the Knolgans can't actually recruit new units. And that's going to be a very serious problem for them in very short order, because if they can't recruit new units, they might actually straight up lose to this Drake attack force. But they did get an Ulfsirker on an Augur, which is good. That's where Ulfsirkers want to be. Oh, we gotta get the good shots. Oh. That's bad luck. That's bad luck. Oh. Painful. Wait. Yeah. Okay, so, Isalphalon surrendered right there. He was still moving units up instead of bringing them back to fight. Not sure what was up with that. I don't know. He was definitely on the downside. He might have still been able to fight this one, but I saw up there they were talking about some kind of a scheduling or timing issue, so that may have been part of why he decided to concede. So in any case, I think the series is tied up then. We've got MrProgressor with Discord and Reddit here. Has 1-1, and Isalphalon has 1-1, so we are going to game 3. And once again, it looks like game 3 involves Drakes. Wrong button. So yes, we've got Isalphalon as the Drakes this time versus MrProgressor as the Loyalists. Okay, so this is one of those matchups where the Drakes have a clear disadvantage. Just because Spearmen are fantastic units against Drakes. And Mages are fantastic units against Saurians. Alright, couple cavalry, a couple of dwarf warriors, and a couple of Drake fighters, and a couple of gliders, and a pair of spearmen there, plus that one. So, there, they have identified each other. Go back to each team. The Drakes are setting up on this central island, but not attacking. Probably wise. But yeah, definitely, especially on a map like this, which is kind of closed in, it's going to be a little bit harder for the Drakes to use their mobility advantage. One way they might do it would be to try to flank around one of the sides while they're not being watched, but up here, they are, yikes, taking a lot of damage from that merman fighter. And they've got spearmen right next door. All ready and willing to take him out. Yeah, that glider got wrecked. And now this fighter is going to get wrecked. Definitely time to disengage. Nope, it's time to disengage. Alright. Let's assume that had worked. Okay, let's assume that this Drake fighter had successfully killed that merman fighter. Trading a Drake fighter for a merman fighter isn't worth it. Drake fighter costs 17 here. Merman fighter costs 14. Just on a strict, cold, calculating level, this Drake fighter, if he moves up here, is fucked. He's going to die. So, if this was a mage, or a horseman, more likely a horseman, if this was a horseman or some other really expensive unit, then yeah, it's worth trading a Drake fighter to kill it, because you generate a small but significant monetary advantage for yourself. It is not worth trading a Drake fighter to kill a merman fighter. And there's no reason these 3 spearmen and bowmen and cavalrymen wouldn't just immediately swarm over and kill this guy. So there, they did get the merman, but at what cost? At that cost. Oh, and they sniped a weakling. Yikes. They're not attacking the clasher because they don't need to. That cavalryman is about to get barbecued, I think. Oh, he survived being barbecued by 1 hit point. Nice. But yeah, the Drakes were just too aggressive early on. Aggression of that kind is just, especially against the Loyalists. The Loyalists can punish Drakes for aggression so severely. If you're playing Drakes against Loyalists, you really have to be careful. The Drakes have been fighting at a little bit of a monetary handicap. They only have 6 villages. So they're, yeah, they just have 1 village that they haven't claimed. It's that one. Kind of hard to see. It's this village right there. But yeah. That was a little painful. But that early Drake offensive pretty much decided the game right there. And that's a common theme in Wesnoth. Over-aggressive offensives, especially early in the game, can often just decide the game. Because if you launch an over-aggressive offensive and don't get lucky, you lose. You don't have the chance to recover. If your opponent is any good, they will just keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you, and not give you the chance to come back from your mistake. There we've got the first level on the Loyalist side. We might have a level on the Drake side coming up, if they're lucky. But they'd have to be pretty fucking lucky to get it at this point. They may be able to get a level 2 skirmisher, but I think it's pretty much all over but the Cryan. Just from a unit perspective, The Drakes have 5 units right now. They do have the money to recruit a couple more. The Loyalists have 6 units just that they know of and can see, or know of or can see, shall we say. Plus a couple more back here. So the Drakes are outnumbered, they're outgunned, they're on the defensive. Money is even, though, so they can potentially come back from this, but it's going to be a real challenge. Yeah, they're outnumbered by like 5 units. Real challenge. Once again, aggression, but aggression without enough support. Like, that guy's dead. Or he should be dead. Okay, never mind. Loyalists are playing it safe. They were waiting for daytime. They're going to come in with the loyal attack, the lawful attack, rather, at dawn when they're fighting mainly Saurians, who are, of course, chaotic. Ouch. 3 hits. But yeah, the Drakes are, at this point, fairly doomed. Like medium to moderate levels of doom right now. They need to get that cavalryman. If they can swarm that cavalryman, they may be able to level up their skirmisher. Yep, there we go. Ooh, 2 hits. 2 hits will do it. There you go. Ambusher! Not sure it's going to be enough. In fact, it's almost certainly not. But hey, it feels good to get the level 2. That poor Augur, though. Just being stabbed from all directions. But at this point, the Saurians are not going to cut it. Chaotic versus lawful in the daytime. And they're outnumbered. And they were never super strong units in the best of times. Oof, 4 misses in a row from the Saurian Ambusher also doesn't help. Oh, well, he got the level to a Drake Arbiter there, which is nice. Unfortunately, we're still kind of counting up things that are nice but won't save them. But the Drakes are definitely putting up a fairly violent defense here. They're getting levels, they're taking heads, they're counting coup. Excuse me, they're making the Loyalists pay for it. Though I think they might lose their leader here. Well, they might not lose him this turn. His odds of getting out of here are fairly slim, though. Okay. I would definitely get that guy down there to attack the... Okay, I guess they can't. Well, they can't get past him. But at this point, yeah, I'm honestly impressed. I'm impressed with how well Isalphalon is battling his inevitable fate. But it is very much inevitable, just the sheer economic disparity. That fencer, my god. I know he's on 70% defense, but please. Oh, there you go. 2 hits from an ambusher. Sort of evened it out. There you go. It took the entirety of the Drake faction. But... And Isalphalon surrenders. Almost too bad, because he was about to get yet another level 2. And to be honest, if he could manage to get like 3 or 4 level 2s, he could have maybe tried to make the comeback, but I don't know. Probably wouldn't have worked out, but it might have been interesting to see. In any case, that is the win. So MrProgressor wins the match 2-1 and advances to the next round. MrProgressor, he is living up to his name. He's progressing. Took out Prey 2-0, took out Isalphalon 2-1. It remains to be seen what he'll do with his third competitor. But very good games. Looking at the stats overall, MrProgressor was actually slightly unlucky. He inflicted a little bit less damage. His margin for inflicted versus taken was higher. So he lost more than he killed. He did definitely have a money advantage, a pretty significant one. But I don't know. To be totally honest, I think I would have liked to see this played out. Because while they are all damaged, a Drake Arbiter is a very powerful unit, and a Saurian Ambusher is a very useful, tricky unit. So I feel like it's possible that the Drakes could still have done something here. I don't know. I mean, they've got 5 villages right at the moment, so they've still got some income. They could take that one back very easily. And given the timing, and the fact that the Loyalists at this point are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of their own, and the Saurians are about to get another level, I don't know. I feel like they could have fought this out. But in any case, Isalphalon decided to concede. Definitely within his rights. He was certainly on the downslope. And sometimes people just don't want to play a long and eventually losing game. So, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, MrProgressor, and especially Isalphalon for playing. And I will see you all in the next video.